All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know, a lot of you have asked me to do this. I was playing this beta, and I definitely wanted to definitely talk about it. Now, you guys remember we had Geo Corsi on the channel. Shout out to Geo Corsi and the good people over there at Ilphonic for coming through and doing a one-on-one with the channel. So that was pretty cool. Shout out to you guys for making that possible. So this is not really a review or anything of that nature. Obviously, the game's still in beta form. This is more of a first impressions and what I think they do right, and a few things they need to work on, and ultimately there's just one flaw that this game has right now going with it. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, because I don't want you to miss any of the gaming news content that we're going to cover throughout this week, but obviously on the channel. Without further ado, man, let's go ahead and get into this video. I know a lot of you have been waiting patiently, and I say thank you to you all.
Good hunting.
So Predator Hunting Grounds obviously is based off of the 1987 cult classic Predator, the film, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this game is by far, I would say, for a lot of people, this might be looked at as a love letter to fans in terms of those who are big fans of the actual film. It does a lot right in terms of getting its references on point. The sound design is amazing. Playing as the Predator is very fluid. It's to the point. There's no issues. And also, they even managed to balance the Predator with the actual Marines. And again, some people were complaining about this, which I thought was funny. Newsflash, when you play this game and you're not the Predator, this is not Call of Duty. Now, sure, the game has a lot of similarities to Call of Duty when you're playing as the Marines. You can do the knee slide, you can run around, obviously, very similar in Call of Duty fashion. Same type of loadout, you know, R1 throws the grenades, you know all that jazz. So it's very similar to Call of Duty in those aspects, but it's not Call of Duty. There is no way you're going to single-handedly kill the Predator by yourself. When you are with your team, you have to work as one unit to take out one common threat, and that is the Predator. Do not worry about going for the kill. Do not worry about, like, you know, oh, I got to do the death kill, or I got to get the first hit. Every amount of damage that you each do, you each contribute to, and you get a set amount of points for. Granted, if you do kill the Predator, you get more points, you know? But again, you don't necessarily have to go at each other's throats for the final kill, if you get where I'm going with this. The Predator in general, when you kill the Predator, now, depending on how quick you are, if you down the Predator and you kill him by shooting him in the head, before the Predator can actually, like, deactivate him, you know, hit his nuclear wristband, right? Before he can deactivate, you can kill him and take his body to the chopper and basically get extra points, meaning that you delivered not only on the mission in terms of beating your objectives, but you also get an extra bonus because you delivered a specimen to the scientist. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice little twist there as well. Each particular, scenario, whether you escape from the helicopter, you can see the Predator growling at you in frustration that he missed you, or you dying from the Predator, him holding your skull, you know, confirming the kills. Or hell, even when you die from the nuke, all of this is really authentic looking, and it's really just, you know, references to the movies. It looks so on point. It's really, really well done in these aspects. Now, here's what happens when you fail. When you kill the Predator, obviously, like I said before, the Predator can, you know, turn this up to a nuke, and you have a set amount of time, and it's no actual time limit on the screen. You have to listen to the beats that's actually really, really loud on his gauntlet. So that's how you know how much time you have to get away from the Predator. So I would say about 10 seconds, 10, maybe 15 seconds before he blows up and then you're dead. That's about right for this game. I actually died from this, which is funny as hell. Here, I'll play it for you right now.
Stabilize was a relative term, so the compound's still explosive. Let's detonate it to be sure. Light them up. Cover me. Reloading. Spread out and search the area. Like that. Here we begin. Target down. I'm reading the flap. Voodoo, do you copy?
Now, if you were a huge fan of the first two films, then you will definitely appreciate the fine detail in this game. It does a lot of cool stuff right, from the authentic heat signature track system that the Predator uses, from you doing something as simple as falling into mud and the actual Predator not being able to sense you. That's right, they actually incorporated that element from the very first film where Arnold Schwarzenegger covered himself in mud and the Predator couldn't track him. And I'm surprised more people didn't catch on to this and were doing this, but I was like the only one on my team. Some people caught on and they were like, holy hell, that's how this dude's surviving. And it's cool. It's really, really cool. Now I'm gonna have to say excuse me for the lack of Predator gameplay, because I didn't really play as much as the Predator. I actually found it more fun to play as the Militia. I know some of you might be looking at me like, what? Well, here's why I actually like playing as the Militia a little bit more as the Predator. The Militia, it's fun to work as a unit to actually take out the foe and actually get your objectives done. Each particular mission that you get, obviously it differs. When you are a human, and aka the Militia, you have to either clear the convoys and get information, aka intel, and then get it to the chopper, or you have to mix chemicals and pretty much, you know, retrieve those results and take those back to the chopper, back to the HQ. And that's basically your mission, and that's supposed to replicate like the films. You guys remember in the very first film, they were a small elite unit, and they took out a massive convoy before the Predator came and took them out, you know, a good chunk of the squad. And so that's basically what this game is pretty much doing. It's giving you a bunch of objectives, with the Predator's only objective being to hunt and kill. And it's really, really fun to do this, you know, working together, hearing all the noises of the Predator, which this game really does nail the sound design absolutely to the T. You can actually hear the growls. Another cool mechanic they did too, from the very first film, if you guys remember, where the Predator got shot in the leg, he pulled the bullet out after he pulled out his medical kit. And what was cool about that, the Predator made out this massive growl. They actually incorporated that in this game. So when you hurt the Predator, obviously he'll bleed, you know, his green blood, and he'll leak around the game. You can't necessarily track him with this. You just know that you hurt him significantly, depending on how much blood is actually on his body in general. So you know for a fact that you actually hurt the Predator when you did this, okay? What's cool about it, again, when you see this, and you see like the blood, you know, around, you know, again, he was there, or he wasn't there, or he probably was there staring at you. Another cool thing and cool aspect that you got to pay attention to is like the sound of the trees. So when you hear massive thuds, that means he's above you. That's the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it. Like if you hear like a massive thud, he's above you. If you hear like the hissing, you know, the little growl that he does with his tracker, where he's looking at you, know that he's close. And he's probably across from you in a tree. I'm surprised a lot of people didn't catch on to this, and a lot of people would just continue to run and spread out. But I'm like, guys, he's right here in this tree, and I'm staring at him with a sniper rifle. Weapons in this game for the Marines are pretty much what you would expect for the time period that they went for with this game. So they're pretty much, they're not like insane over the top with a bunch of explosives like you guys see in today's shooters. They're more so old school, laid back type of guns. Some of them are references to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Some are references to Billy. You guys remember Billy from the very first film, where he cut himself with the machete and threw his gun off the ravine. His gun's in here. Jesse Ventura's gun is in here. The minigun, that's in here. So you have a lot of cool options to choose from, and they look pretty cool. They look authentic. Another cool thing that you can do is customize them. You can make them your own, basically. So each particular weapon has its own leveling up system. You get this by either killing the Predator or killing the numerous NPCs in the game. And yes, the NPCs in this game, the AI UI is not great for them, but keep in mind that's what it's supposed to be. They're supposed to replicate the film. If you guys remember the film, again, the NPC or the human gorillas that they took out in the actual game, right, or in the movie, weren't really that big of a threat to the squad. So that's kind of what the game is trying to replicate. It's trying to make you feel empowered enough so that you can take on a predator. Obviously, if they went over the top and made these characters super strong, then obviously it kind of would defeat the purpose of a predator game. Now, wouldn't it? It would just turn into Call of Duty. So that's the point of that. But anyway. Continuing, you have access to different camos, so very similar to Call of Duty. A lot of camos from Call of Duty, type of thing, like Red Tiger and stuff like that. You have access to this stuff. You get it through leveling up. You don't even have to level up your gun to the max to get these camos, which I thought was cool. I think they should keep that as is. I actually like that. So that way it doesn't feel restrictive. You get what I'm saying? Even if you like a gun, you can make it your own. And the same thing goes for your character. Customization for your characters is pretty expansive. You can really upgrade your character pretty good. So it's awesome. I actually like that. You can make them look dope. You can make them look different. You can add your own elements to them. Different masks, different colored visors and all that stuff, bandanas. Really, really cool. And the same thing goes for Predator. Predator has some of the dopest customization in here. And they announced with the pre-order that you can get the 1987 cult classic skin for the original Predator. So if you want the original look, you can get that, but you can also customize that, if I'm not mistaken, in this game as well. So I'm talking different colored helmets for the Predator. You can actually have different like colored dreads. You know, his Predator dreads, you can make those different colors. You can change like the skin tone of the Predator, make him more like crocodilian in terms of his skin, basically replicating how he looked in Predators. You guys remember Predators, the latest one that came out not too long ago? You can make him look somewhat like that, have a face mask similar to that, so that's cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so let's get into the Predator. So the Predator has access to his active camo, his blade gauntlet, and of course the shoulder cannon. These are the default weapons that you get right out the gate when you first play the game as Predator. And so far, you know, right out the gate, you're good, you know, to go. Obviously, you're not a Predator without the camo. The blade gauntlet is not a one-hit kill. It's kind of like a 3-hit kill from what I've seen and from what I personally experienced. Kind of like 3-hit kills. You're dead with the blade gauntlet, so you have access to that. And of course the shoulder cannon. The shoulder cannon can vary. If you get a headshot with the shoulder cannon, obviously you're dead. If you get body shots, I think it's like 3 hits to the body, you're dead, supposedly, depending on where you hit them and how far they are. Oh, I forgot to mention, there are perks in this game as well. So the human side and of course the Predator have access to perks. I gotta throw that out there too. So yeah. Those are the weapons. Now, when you level up, obviously with the Predator, then you get access to the more pretty much the cult favorites, right? Like the boomerang disc, you can get access to that like level 20 something, I think. You get access to the staff, the net gun, you know, all that stuff. So they did incorporate a lot of his weapons in here, so you won't be bored and you won't have a lot, like you won't be limited. Basically, is where I'm getting this. You won't be limited at all. So yeah, they pretty much did give you a lot to work with the Predator as well as the humans. And to tell you the truth, gotta applaud them. It's really, really well done. Now, going further with the game in general, again, soundtrack is pretty much ripped from the first film. So yeah, they got that on point. It plays throughout the game as you're going through it. It feels, again, authentic to the film, and that's pretty much it, I think, for all my positives. I think it's really well done in these aspects. It really, really is well done. The game feels fluid again, playing, against the Predator at times, and the movements feel fluid, and yeah, no issues at all. So it's definitely really, really well done. So let's get into the negatives that Ilphonic definitely needs to patch up or go back to the drawing board and fix up. So when we first played the game, now obviously the user interface, I kind of got used to it, obviously, after a whole day's worth of playing, but I would like the user interface to be changed a bit. Just make it look a little bit more, I don't know, different. Make it look a little better than what it looks now. It looks kind of bare bones. Not really much to really go off of, with this UI. It could use a new overhaul. Same thing goes for the Predator. Make it a little bit more tech savvy, Make it just a tad bit more tech savvy and do stuff like that. The movements, I guess I'll start with the Predator here. Now again, I already praised you, I already told you guys it's fluid. But when you're playing the Predator and you're like climbing the trees and whatnot, I know a lot of you might think, or those of you who played the Predator a lot in this beta know exactly where I'm going with this, but some of you might think when you're in the trees you have like the full range of motion. You don't really have the full range of like mobility when you're in the trees. Granted, you can go left, right, and up. Those are the only directions you could go when you're in the tree, as the game kind of does everything else for you. So when you jump into a tree and you press forward, depending on which direction you're going, the game will automatically jump for you and like latch on to the other trees, and you don't really have any like sort of freedom in terms of motion when you're doing this. It kind of feels like you're moving on a track, if that makes sense, when you're playing as the Predator when you're in the trees. So there's that. One of the biggest issues, if not the biggest issue for this game, is the frame rate. So for PC, this game runs like a tree. Kind of makes you wondering, is this game fully being prioritized for PC? If it is, then obviously if you bought it on PC and you played it on PC, you have no issues. And this, what I'm about to say, is going to fall on deaf ears. I played this on the PlayStation 4, and I can tell you for the console version is definitely for sure going to be the inferior version. Like in all aspects at this point, the game runs at 30 frames per second on console, and you would think, okay, 30 frames per second will be fine, but does it run at a locked frame rate? No. Frame rate dips definitely occur throughout this game. It has happened numerous times. Even when I'm close to the Predator and I'm shooting him up with the guns, he will like, glitch around. He's behind me, This is all due to the frame rate. The frame rate really does show, and it really does drop. I've run into a few instances like this where I knew for a fact I shot this Predator, and then all of a sudden the game will glitch, like jerk, and then he's out of my sight. All of a sudden he's in the tree behind me. It happens so many times in this game. And granted, it seemed to only happen as much when you got into the more competitive side, right? Kind of making you wondering, is it truly the frame rate all the way to blame, right? Is it really the frame rate, or is it the netcode? Because let me tell you, the netcode was another issue by itself. Now, me and Jez, shout out to Jez, we were playing this, and we had a blast on the very first day. And shout out to Craig and Daxter, man. I wanted to play with those guys. The netcode, though, was so bad, it couldn't really let us connect. I'm talking the wait times for the games for the very first day of the beta was like, me and Jez only played 4 games, and we streamed the game for over an hour. We only got like 4 games in. Maybe even 3, if I remember correctly. 3 or 4 games in an hour. That is a big deal. And on top of that, the waiting times were insane. I'm talking, they varied. You would think they would get smaller and smaller, but it was getting bigger and bigger. I'm talking, we waited 15 minutes to connect to one game, another 20 for another, and then another 30, it felt like, It was like, what is going on with the netcode? We had to constantly back out, regroup, research the game to get everything going. And then again, that was one of the biggest gripes about this game in general, was the netcode. If they fix the netcode and they fix this frame rate, I think this game will definitely last quite a bit. This has already made a better impression to a lot of fans or if you want to basically compare this to Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, any developer, I don't think any developer can really balance a Friday the 13th game, right? Jason's just Jason. Jason has died and died and died and died some more, and has never been killed. And when you do this in video game form, sure, it might be cool for a visual, but it doesn't work in general for the actual project. Predators actually works in general. It makes sense. Predator is not OP. He's not over the top. You can easily, overpower the Predator if you're playing smart and being a team rather than being Rambo trying to get the MVP award on the game. Nah. These things definitely play a factor. And again, I would highly recommend, they actually relook into these issues. Once they fix these issues and patch it up, oh, dude, we're going to have a good game on our hands. And granted, if they need to, I would say delay this game. I wouldn't even launch this game on the PS4 and Xbox One X. I would launch this on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, since those consoles are going to have better CPUs and GPUs, but also going to have fast SSDs, and this is going to take a lot of the workload off of the game and actually make it that much more better. And of course, just refine your multiplayer. Change the UI a bit. No issues. I think we'll have a good game here, and this would be a good game to start off the next generation. You know, you can show off the updates, right? But also, you can have this as your first competitive multiplayer game, at least until the heavier AAA budget games start dropping for those particular systems. Obviously, you know, respectfully to you guys, obviously, but you know, you get where I'm going with this. You know, the insane projects. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this game. I enjoyed the beta for what it was, had fun with the guys and those I played with. Actually played solo quite a bit to see if it was possible to have the same level of enjoyment out of this. And I had some mixed results. Some games were good, some were bad. Some games I had dudes kissing my ass literally because I was surviving longer than I expected. And again, that goes back to the technique that I told you guys with the mud, which again, shout out to Elphonic for actually putting that mechanic in here. That is pretty cool. And again, yeah, that's pretty much it. Predator Hunting Grounds, if I was to rate it, right, off of this beta, again, just give my personal opinion, I would give it like a 6 out of 10 in its current state. It's definitely above average. Not a bad game, not a terrible game. It's just not necessarily a great game in its particular fashion. It's got a lot of potential, a good foundation to build a franchise off of if it's done properly, and I do believe that this game could be a sleeper hit if it's actually nailed. But if they really want to go for that type of experience, you got to make sure you get all these issues resolved and everything go up and running, so that way you have a game that just not only looks appealing but is appealing. Remember, to a lot of gamers, your first impression is always your most important impression, and if you can actually nail that, you'll have more people looking at the game and actually wanting to give it a try. So that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, that's it. Predator Hunting Grounds, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll probably hit up Gio Corsi if he's willing to come through again and see if you know, we can give him some more feedback if you guys are interested in that for sure. But definitely let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I do appreciate you guys. Shout out to all the new faces on the channel, and I really do hope you enjoy the content. I really do. I will see you guys on the next one. Until next time, this is Big Cloud Gaming. I will see you there. You guys be blessed. Y'all be easy. Obviously, gaming news is going to be pretty good this week, so I'm going to be dropping some videos, so just keep a lookout. Make sure that bell icon is ticked, and of course, you select all for notifications so you won't miss a video. Until next time, man, it's your boy Ryan. I am most certainly signing out. Y'all be good. Later.